My name's Andrew, and today I'm going to show you how to Reka eggs Benedict. Let's break down our ingredients. We have 1/4 teaspoon of smoked paprika, 1/4 teaspoon of fresh cayenne, and 1/4 teaspoon of the lemon salt that we made in a previous episode. 2 sticks of butter stacking up to a cup of butter, which we're going to reduce down, pull out the solids. Lemon for the rind, 4 egg yolks separated, a tablespoon and 1/4 of fresh squeezed lemon juice, and a tablespoon and 1/4 of water. Let's go. So we're going to begin by melting the butter. I personally like to separate out the solids because the solids are what can end up separating the Hollandaise sauce. So we want to pull that out, get a nice clarification of the butter. That's technically what people call ghee, so you could go out and buy ghee and just melt that instead. But this is what we're going to use. I have here a saucepan with about 1 inch of water in the bottom. I'm bringing it up to a simmer, not a boil, a simmer. And I'm going to take a secondary bowl and set it into the saucepan. I don't want direct heat, so this is an indirect heat using steam. Now that's starting to heat up now pretty good. And I am going to take the eggs that we have, the egg yolks rather, and I'm going to place them in the bottom of this bowl. I am then going to take some lemon juice, which is an acid, so we have fat and acid, and I'm going to add that to the bowl. Now once we start, which is right now, I'm going to add some of the spices in here too, and salts. Now I'm going to start this, and I cannot stop. I'm going to stay doing this. It's going to take a few minutes. You have to be patient. If you leave it, it can come unstuck. So we don't want scrambled eggs, and we also don't want it all separated. So we're just going to have to keep rolling, and you're going to watch it start to slowly thicken with the heat that we have on there. We want an excellent result.
Well, dig in.
So you can see that there's air bubbles starting to form in the eggs, and you can see that the egg is now looking a little redder. That's the cayenne and the smoked paprika that I've added in. So this is going to look a little differently than maybe your mama's Hollandaise sauce.
It's way better than what she usually makes.
We want to fluff this into a thicker composition, and then once we've got it where we want it, we'll start to add our clarified butter. Now I'm going to add some of the water in, half to be precise. Okay, so that's exactly where I want it to be right there. I'm going to take this off now, and off the heat, I'm now going to add in all of our butter. I have a small pot holder so that the bowl stays relatively stationary while I'm mixing. The pro tip is to very slowly add the clarified butter in, little bit at a time while I'm mixing. When you look at Hollandaise sauce, you usually see a very light yellow cream in color. This is going to have like an orangey rust color to it because of the cayenne that we added in. So just to give it a little bit of zest and zing, let's just add a little bit of lemon rind. I personally like the zing, so I tend to give it a little bit more. You do you for taste. And again, this is a little bit more orange in color than your regular Hollandaise, and that's because of the additional cayenne and smoked paprika that I've added in. That's because we're spicy.
Yeah, no, I'm fine. I always react this way to spicy food.
So we have our cayenne spicy Hollandaise sauce with a zing of lemon, and I'm going to now add that into a reserve bowl. This should be good without having to be like reheated and re-emulsified for about the next hour or so. Okay, now we're at the part where we're going to poach these eggs so we can bring this amazing eggs Benedict together. So pro tip, I always use 3/4 tablespoon of white vinegar. It causes the eggs to actually stick together rather than just loosely spread out through the water. Second thing is I'm going to stir the water to create a vortex. And that's just going to really help as I move towards putting the egg in so that it holds. So we are simply going to take an egg, and if you notice I've pre-cracked them all into small little cups and bowls, and I'm simply going to put that dude right there. If you haven't experienced this breakfast for dinner or dinner for breakfast, then you're missing out on life. As you can see, it's super easy to make and the ingredients are also simple. I grew up, we'd go out for breakfast on a Saturday morning to a local cafe in New Zealand, and this would just be a go-to breakfast. You can also get this with salmon or with Canadian bacon.
I love bacon.
So let's go in and actually look at this. This is the money moment right here, where we're gonna go in and just let the yolk have its way. See, I personally think that yolk is God's gravy. It's just the sauce that keeps on giving. So let's go in and have a taste. I'm gonna let you know what it's all about. I'm gonna give you that one bite.
One bite, everyone knows rules.
My goodness, you can't beat that. Creamy, the citrus, of course, the rind, but then you've got that very delicate, polite heat of the cayenne and then that spice of the paprika. The buttery, creamy, silky sauce, and then obviously you've got your bacon and your egg and the yolk, English muffin sitting in there, but the Hollandaise sauce turns a get-together into a royal ball. I would just really encourage you, get this on at your house. Breakfast, lunch, or dinner, it's a winner.
What?
Thanks for watching. And by the way, if you've been watching this channel and you haven't subscribed yet, you're also missing out. Help us get the message out there. Hit a like, hit a share, and please subscribe. And tell your friends about this crazy, amazing good channel that cooks really good food and makes you want to cook at home. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you next week. There is a really cool recipe coming next week that I know you're going to love.